Okay, I think I'm live. Always takes me a little minute to work out if I am. Let us see. Is it going to be friends with me tonight? I think it is. Hello. What I'm going to do tonight, which is a little bit different, is I'm also going to live stream on Instagram on my phone just here because I'm having the most horrendous time with Instagram at the moment. So I'm going to hit live on Instagram too so that we are able to do this together. Hello, lovely Chloe. Chloe's doing EMBARK, so I love that you're so dedicated. You are showing up here for every pre-training, which is amazing. That rocks my world. Super, super rad. Actually, can you hear me? Oh no, you can. Can you let me know if you can hear me? Just had the mirror, I went, am I on the right channel? Hi, Meals. How you doing? How you doing after? Does lockdown affect you in Geelong way too? I don't actually know. But I have a wine tonight because that's where we're at in lockdown. Oh, you can hear me. Okay, cool. I'm really glad. So what I'm going to do is quickly go live. Oh, I forgot to add a title. That's annoying. Let me quickly do that here. Not pre-training. So tonight we are doing leading with confidence, because I actually really think that's the thing that women struggle with the most, is the concept of how to do that in a way that they feel super confident, and I really want you to be able to. So tonight we're going to hash some of that out. Leading with confidence. I'm doing Instagram on my phone because for whatever reason Instagram does not want to update for me, and I'm having the worst time. I don't even know if it's going to do a title for me. Okay, I really seriously give up. We're just going to go with live. We'll see how that goes. So it doesn't let me upload. So here we are on EMBARK Live pre-training on Instagram too, and Facebook at the same time. So I'm going to be talking over here, but please know if you're on Instagram instead of Facebook that I'm just here because I'm having the worst time uploading onto Facebook. So we're going to do two at once tonight and see how that goes. I've never done that before. We'll just see. Hi, Candy. Hi, Shelley. Mills, you're not as affected by lockdown, no restrictions for when or why not to leave home for now. Yes, I was a very angry person this afternoon. So here we are post-anger, and I'm joining you with wine tonight. That is where we were at. So let's get into it. Because, hi Carly, I want to make sure that we're trying to get these pre-trainings done in 40 minutes so it doesn't become a mammoth effort for you to be able to get through them, particularly if you're joining me in EMBARK, and I don't want it to be like so much training you can't fit it in with life and kids and all of the things. So, leading with confidence. First off, as you know, I absolutely believe in being a healer first and foremost. I think it's very hard to coach women. I'm not even totally sure what that word means anymore in the big wide world of coaching, if you're not in for the ride of seriously healing this woman that's in front of you. The way that you're able to heal the woman in front of you with confidence is because you've built confidence on your own healing journey. So this is where the wounded healer becomes your best asset. If you are still the walking wounded, you are not helpful. But if you have transcended your wounds into wisdom, then you as the wounded healer are the best asset and ally for any woman to have next to her as she walks a journey. And I say next to her because in feminine leadership and embodiment, we walk next to women. We don't walk in front of them and somehow drag them along, or I'm not sure how that works. Leading for me looks more like Here's what feels really good in my body. Here's what I've learnt. Here's how I see it. Does that feel really good for you? And if it doesn't, why doesn't it? Let's dig into that. So, leading with confidence, my rule number one is you have to be in for your own healing journey. If you stop investing in your own healing, you stop learning and growing, and you stop being able to be of as great a service and influence for the women that you're here to heal, because you have to remember what it's like to be back at the beginning. You have to remember what it's like to be the person who's struggling and the one who can't work out how to change the thing that she might know up here, but it hasn't landed in her body or in her world. You have to remember what that's like to be beautiful. Amelia, who's on here with me, she has the most wonderful metaphor, and I hope it's okay, Amelia, that I keep coming back to it. But I just loved it so much. And she always talks about, and you know I'm going to get it wrong again, so please feel free to correct me. She always talks about, when I was mentioning this in the last EMBARK round, she said, yeah, you know, it's just like she's a black belt in karate. And she was saying, before we make the transition to black belt, we have to stand on the line with the beginners and remember what it was like to be there before we become masterful at this act. And I mean, in essence, let's just say that's not word for word, is it, Amelia? Was that it? Oh my God, did I get it? That's amazing. But I just love that symbology, because that's totally how I see it and feel it in my body. That's why I'm a big advocate of us having a Stoic practice of continuing your own evolution and healing and self-inquiry, because you actually build confidence in your skill sets by virtue of knowing the path of healing that you've walked. It's very easy to be confident in something that you just know. Not because you've read it, not because it was given the whatever in studies of whatever, but because you know it in your bones. This is a path you have walked and you just know, right? So that is step number one. Have a Stoic practice. Continue to remind yourself what it's like to fumble, and what it's like to be a beginner, and what it's like to be awkward. And particularly if you're running Women's Circle, what it's like to be intimidated and unsure of what this whole setup and scenario is going to be. There's so much value in remembering, so much. I think it makes you a far better healer than one who just doesn't get where you're at. It's more than meeting them where they're at. It's about really understanding it in your body and having transcended that, knowing where to lead them. So that's what I think leading with confidence, rule number one is. Rule number two is stop waiting. Stop waiting for confidence, because we are dual-sided beings. We have yin and yang, shadow and light, confidence and total lack of confidence, all happening in exactly the same moment. So in this world of universal, completion and laws of polarity, there is everything present in every single moment, and it's only our perception that defines whether we, in our human perception, of which is 1% of the 100% that's possible, decide whether something's true and in reality or not. But the universal truth is everything is present all at the same time. So we can be in alignment and we can be out of alignment in exactly the same moment, but in different ways. We can be full of confidence and we can be totally without confidence in exactly the same moment and in completely different areas of life, right? So if you keep waiting for perfection, if you keep waiting for the moment if and when, you are setting yourself up for just a series of pitfalls and moments that you don't really reach potential, because you have to leap in order to prove to yourself what is possible. You don't know what's possible until after you've done it, and then you go, oh, I can do that now. Right, I just wrote a book in 3 days. Do you think I thought that was possible when I started? I was like, I hope it's possible. Hanging on by a whim and a thread. Off we go, let's leap. I'm going to give it everything I've got, knowing it might not work and it might fail. And if it does, can I handle my own disappointment and failure? Because we won't try if we cannot handle and have not built up an ability to be emotionally intelligent and resilient enough that we can work with our own disappointment and failure. I'm pretty comfortable with this is me, and this sometimes is pretty messy. And there's no part of me that's hidden. So if you happen to see the worst part of me, I'm like, well, this is all of me. You can't just love the bits that are convenient. So I'm happy for you to see all of it. It's okay. But that comes with a level of continuing to have true courage, which is wide openness without protection from other people, knowing that I can trust those leaps because I trust myself. I know I've got me. No matter what this is, I know I've got me. And if it's disappointment, I can feel that through my body and I can let that be okay. I can move it. I can be with it. And I know enough now to know what I, in my humanness, think is the right thing, the right way, reality, where we should be headed is rarely always the best possible solution for my soul or my growth. And when someone or something else deviates from that plan, whilst I might have emotions that arise in that, if I can deal with those, I know it leads on to something better. I might not know it at this moment, but when I look back, I've proven that in my life enough to know, well, that worked out better. Who'd have thought? So you leap because it's too fucking scary not to. I'm not in for a life of mediocrity. I'm here to fucking live it. Full color, hyper color, packed with love. And because I said yes to every experience and because I leapt and it was fucking brutal sometimes, and I can look back and tell the most wild stories. And the fact that I can live with an extreme amount of pain or suffering also means I can live with an extreme amount of ecstasy and pleasure, because they're two sides of the same coin. I'm in for full color, fully lived, fully opened. Let's do this shit. I'm not in for contained and pretty and middle grey, comfortable. I'm not in for that. So I would love for you to stop waiting for perfect and just take a leap, because you know you can build your own wings down. And even if your wings falter, you are so held by a group of women who will give you wings when you yourself think you don't have them. That's what women do. That's what community does. That's what true sistership is. That is how I know women. I don't know women the way that my culture taught me, which was competition and manipulation and can't be trusted, and all of those shadow aspects that tear women apart and keep us isolated and separate and therefore diminish our power. That's not how I know women. I know women as hearts and souls that beat and throb, and when they come together, they open something exponentially greater. And I know that the moment I'm not everything I could be in this moment, that the moment I'm honest and open about that, there is more arms to hold me than I can even conceive of. So what have I got to lose? nothing but a full colour life. You know? So, point number 2 is don't wait for confidence to do the thing, because we are all living with self-doubt. The greatest minds of this world, please listen to their interviews, because they all say they self-doubt. They all have the monkey mind in their head that's going, are you really sure you can do that? I don't think you can. I'm pretty sure you're a fuck up. But it's about whether you believe that and you crumple to it, or you go, I know, my love, and I'm going to tuck you under my wing, and off we go. We can go together. Because that's how I do it. And it's like way better. And sometimes you want that alarm system because it keeps you in check. And that's a beautiful thing. The last point I had on this was, actually there's 2 more I haven't mentioned here, is whatever you do, do it in the way you learn it. And this goes back to my first point, which is healing. The way that speaks to you to learn, to evolve, to grow, and to heal is always teaching you and leading you and guiding you on a path that becomes the wisdom that you're here to use and heal. Whatever you teach, whatever you heal, however you do that, in whatever creation of art form that is, deliver it and give it in the way that you learn it. Because that's your art. If you start trying to like clunk yourself into doing someone else's version of what that is supposed to look like, it will stop being effortless. It will stop being an equal exchange in your feminine of giving and receiving and life force and vitality, and it will start feeling pretty hard. So whatever you do, do it in the way you learn it. Please. That's what we all want. So what is your medicine is your service. Is what I have written down here. Whatever your medicine is your service. It's taken me a lot of years to understand that with an absolute depth and clarity, because I was pretty sure it was stupid that I could remember stories like, I can't remember names, but I can remember stories like nobody's business. I could recite with poetic heart the storyline of nearly any story from my childhood. But I was pretty sure that was just a frivolous something. Until I found the matriarchs, who are so few and far between, who are the most ancient of story weavers, and I learnt that art and I go, oh, that's medicine. I understand it now. Right? Whatever you take in as your medicine should be the medicine that you're here to use. It becomes part of it, you know? Just catching up. Hi, Yanni. Hi, Donna. Hi, Loli. The worst parts are the best parts. Yes, Emma. Carly, I will not coach on anything I have not walked my way through myself. I do not ask my women to do anything I won't do, or go anywhere I won't go by myself. Yeah, totes. Janine, it's scary. It is scary, but I also think our nervous systems are a little bit not wired quite so well to read scary also as excitement. I know there's a bit of pop culture around what that looks like, but or you know, people are playing around with it, I think, in the world. But really those sensations of like that energy as it kind of flutters through women's bodies when we're not used to, what I have noticed in reading women's bodies, perhaps is how I should start this, is that very often what's missing is the energetic channel that runs through the belly, through the abdomen, and through the solar plexus, which of course is very reminiscent of our culture at this point in time. So we read these sort of flutters or like flint, like sparks of energy. And instead of knowing what to do with those and how to move them through our body, we like go, clamp it down and squeeze it off until it's cold and numb and we're not feeling anything anymore. Or we try and remove ourselves from our body so that the sensation of it is less, because we're sure that it equals danger or embarrassment in some form or another. But I just think we haven't quite worked out what to do with what I notice in women's bodies is they haven't quite worked out what to do with that energy yet. And when they work out how to reconnect those central channels and how to actually read their body in a way that they've never been shown before, that becomes, oh, fuck, I'm ready. Like there's like nerves and there's excitement and it's like a first date, but it's filled with promise. And I think that's the way that I read what's the bigger risk, doing it or not doing it? You know, what's the bigger cost? What's the cost of never doing this and never trying? And what's the cost of if I do? I think 9 times out of 10 you'd find the bigger cost is not doing it. It's always worth asking, I think. Carolyn, I heard someone say you have to love yourself enough to take the risk to put yourself out there to try. I loved that. Yeah, totally. I really feel that too. Chloe, scary not to take the leap. Yeah. You think that's why you've leapt into EMBARK? I know, and you're birthing a baby at the same time, which like is incredible. But I also think there's nothing that's not without synchronicity, right? Like the whole concept of birthing a new version of yourself as you birth a new baby, and that you're then consciously going, and here's the step towards that creation, as opposed to waiting for it to come upon you. I think that's incredibly conscious, in actual fact. Yeah, how do you define your medicine, Carolyn? Yeah, it's more just like, what is your medicine? Because that's what you're here to teach as well. Yeah, story medicine, Emma, I know, but you're a story weaver too. That would land for you. Took me a while to own that. Took me a while. All right, next point with women. Let me have, because I have like another 4. I didn't want this to go forever because I want it to be accessible and easy. All right, when you are working with women / the feminine, being an energy within any body, not just a woman's body, because there can certainly be men with feminine energy and women with masculine energy, so not even just women. Feminine beings. When you begin to enter the feminine, particularly if no one has entered them in such a safe or deep way before, if they have suppressed, denied, not been able to listen to some pretty deep stuff in their body, the first thing that you will meet as you enter the feminine, even though you might be starting for something that's really beautiful and lovely, often the first thing you will meet is pain. And I put that in here in leading with confidence. I know we spend way more time talking about this in EMBARK, but I wanted to put it here because I wonder sometimes if we do women a disservice because we're not too sure what to do with deep emotion or pain when it comes up in the woman in front of us. And I have watched some coaches and healers go, oh, backpedal, I've gone too far, I don't want to make them awkward, I don't want this to be like not a good experience for you, and they do this like backpedal, and it just kind of breaks my heart because I think the way is through. It's not over or under or around or pretending you can't handle something or that it's not supposed to be here, or that it's the opposite of joy, because there's ecstasy and relief in pain and in suffering. When we're releasing it and moving it through our body, there's a level of relief there that can feel pleasureful. So I put it in here, leading with confidence, because if you are a worker with women and you have held the space so beautifully that she's opened just a little bit, and the first thing that comes out is a flood of something. pain, suffering, tears, anger, that I want you to know that is a sign that you've done it beautifully, not a sign that you've done something wrong. So if you get there, I would love for you to know in your heart, like right at the bottom, that this is your calling and that this now is a sacred, sacred moment, because you've just cracked the veneer. And now you've got the, soft, gooey marshmallow, the vulnerable part. What are you going to do with that? You're going to try and shove the marshmallow back in? Or are you going to let it flow because she's a river and she's not a dam? So I put this in here because pain will always come up first with women. And what you do with that is the sacred part. But the fact that you got that or got there is the confidence part. You've already done it. You've already can say to yourself, I'm meant to be here. This is my purpose. This is my honor to now be in this space of healing. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but out in the big wide world, it's pretty hard to crack that veneer. So it's sacred whenever anyone moves beyond the contained surface. So what I put in here with this is just breathe with her. If you are holding a strong masculine polarity, then you are allowing the person in front of you to be a full feminine polarity, which means to be fully present and immersed and in feeling. And any time we try and suppress and move away from feeling, we're suppressing the feminine. So what instead does it look like to celebrate her arrival and her presence and let her flow? And the more she flows, the stiller you get, the deeper you breathe, the deeper she goes. So just breathe. That is leading, energetically leading, energetically opening her, holding a very safe container. Because guess what? You don't have to do anything. She actually is a self-healing, self-cleaning, self-transcendent being all on her own. Your art is the space you let her walk into where she can, that she can't anywhere else. She's not healed because you do something. She can do that on her own. So that is an embodied healer. Someone who stops chasing the tools and the books and the reasons and starts being the healing medicine, because they fully know this person in front of them is 100% capable of total transformation and transmutation in this very moment. That's the Philosopher's Stone. If you've never witnessed someone transmute something in front of your eyes, it's like it's the saddest tragedy. I think it's magnificent. It is the most extraordinary, grace-filled, briefest moment of divine energy you could ever connect to. And you have that moment every time that little crack appears and pain arrives. I would hate to think that you try and tuck it away. And I would love to think that you create the anchor and the space for her to do all of that beautiful healing work that she was always born to do and perhaps has forgotten how, or just never had the space or the time. So that's what I would like to think. Oh, it took you straight back to circle, Candy. Yeah. Yeah. It's a really beautiful gift. The other point that I'm going to make on here, and it's often one that I bring up in the context of, particularly in women's circle, because is humor. So humor can be used to, of course, avoid deep pain. And sometimes humor can be completely transcendental. If humor is kind of like that dark humor where it hits the nail right on the head of truth and allows you to, or allows the person in front of you to quake and shake and move their nervous system and their body, they're actually transmuting energy. We can cry, we can laugh, we can shake, we can do all those things in a really big belly laugh, and that is medicine. So think about, we're all wild, yeah, we are wild like mammals. We've got to shake when we're transmuting. Think about cells, they vibrate and they shake when they're coming together and forming a new cell, organ, tissue. We're constructed, molecules vibrate, atoms vibrate, energy vibrates. We're constructed to vibrate when we're transforming. So it's the same thing with healing. So when we're moving through a process of transmutation, we need to shake. That's why we'll get adrenaline rush. That's why we'll shake when we're scared or nervous or excited, or we've just gone through a big healing. Our body will need to shake because it's like shaking out the debris, shaking off the nervous system that's a bit, all of the stale bits that need to kind of move through the body. It's being able to create new neural pathways in this neuroplastic brain that we now know from science, right? Humor does that. Really deep belly laughs let go of all tension. Think about what happens in your body. Your belly lets go of tension, everything jiggles, everything's loose. It's this waves and waves, no different to if there were waves and waves of tears or, shaking of the body. It's all transformation. So sometimes humor can be the most wonderful medicine if it's done in exactly the right way and doesn't avoid deep pain. And sometimes it can be perfect. And I would love to think that in every women's circle there is a fluid movement of depth and tears and depth of what it is to be a woman having a lived human experience that creates ripples of rolling laughter. That to me is a true women's circle, when we can laugh at the irony and the mess and the gloriousness of just doing this. So humor. I've practiced your depth and breadth to hold more. Now, nowhere will teach you that like parenting. Possibly relationship, but usually we can still escape relationship a little bit. So practicing your depth and breadth and your capacity to extend and expand what your nervous system can hold and tolerate is always a beautiful practice and process, and will always build your skill sets for being able to work in whatever capacity that is with women, groups of women, not even just women, whoever. The more that you can hold, the more that you can hold. What you can't be within yourself, you can't be with outside of you. So what you struggle with your kids is what you struggle with internally with yourself. It will be the same in your clients. You will attract clients in strings, and that's not an accident. You will attract clients that have been past evolutions of you, or past lovers, or past parents, or remind you of your kids. You are continuously calling in evolution and growth through connection. So if you're looking for meaning making in what you're doing in your parenting, there is nowhere that I learn more than in my parenting. There is nowhere that I can test my capacity for how much can I hold, and really how deep and raw and honest can I be. You know, like there's nothing that scares me. I mean, I've been working with women for a really long time now. So I've been in women's circle for 25 years now, or in deep healing spaces of various sorts. So, and, you know, had some pretty profound and incredible experiences through that time. Sorry, took myself off on my own little tunnel. There's really, and I've been working really intimately with relationship since my daughter was 2, so she's 13, so 11 years. There's probably nothing I haven't heard yet or seen. But because I know I can hold all of that, I'm not scared of anything. So when I open up a new space to someone, I don't ask them to tell them anything about, I don't ask them to tell me anything about them, because I'm like, I know whatever this is, I'm going to open it up and it's going to be beautiful. Anyways, if you read my post yesterday, I think it was, I always ask myself, what is the poem that's in front of me? Because this is art. Whatever is in front of me is art. I'm just here to tweak the notes or remind them how to riff. But I can do that because I've learned how to play an orchestra. And just in case I think I forget, or I get a little bit like, start getting a bit stuck and stagnant, I have 4 children. They keep me pretty fluid. So I would love for you to see how every area of your life is serving the other. And the more that they're interlinked, the more you can consciously link them and create more meaning, the more meaningful they will become. And the more confidence you will build. So that. Okay, my next point. Hello, lovely Mel. I always say if I don't laugh, I will cry, but it's not avoidance for me. Yeah. Well, you can laugh or you can cry, right? So you actually get to, some clients are going to work better than others, and some moments are going to feel better than others. Some of the most morbid moments I've had, if you've ever been with anyone who's dying, they have the most morbid sense of humor. It's completely liberating. I actually kind of wish everybody had an opportunity to be around death, because I think we'd learn so much about life. Anyway. All right, I've got 2 more points. Love them into freedom. Be the energy that opens and guides them. So I think I've kind of said this before, is that you offer them the presence to find their own solutions and freedoms. And the part of the way that you do that, if you've got to, when I say I look at them and I go, I know that this is art in front of me, I know that this is a poem, there's no part of me that judges any part of whatever they perceive might be bad or wrong or good or anything, because everything is neutral and all of this is a function of whatever they're here to evolve into. So I look at it that my responsibility as a healer, and where I get my confidence from to heal, is because I know how to hold my own energy. I'm not lost and washed in your energy, because I'm of absolutely no service to you if I get completely washed away in your experience. And I'm of no service to you if I completely turn my energy in towards myself and I start going, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing here? Me. I. Might seem self-minimizing, but still a little bit narcissistic. So I'm no good to you if I do not have clear energetic boundaries and knowings. But when I really know and understand the movement of energy in my own body, when I know how to hold the space that opens you to whatever revelations you're here in this moment and in this energy to have, then my responsibility is my energy. I'm an energetic practitioner. If I'm not looking after my energy, I'm not doing my healing. So half of what I do is being able to plug in very thoroughly to a particular frequency of energy, knowing that that can be transmitted and received by the person in front of me. So I talk about this in the book that I just wrote, which, I mean, I talk about it in terms of partnership there, but it's the same concept here. Is you've got to consider that you're the sun. And I often think of this like a reader with my children. You're the sun, they're the flower. The sun doesn't start yelling to the flower, "It's this way! You have to come this way to receive nourishment." And the sun doesn't bring its sun arms down and uproot the flower and go, "Here is where you're supposed to be." And the sun doesn't get rid of all of the weeds so that the flower can see the sun. And the sun doesn't kind of yank its head, "This way, this is where you're supposed to be," and snap its head off in the process. The sun just beams the warmest, golden, most beautiful, loving light that loves everything that it touches and nourishes everything that's willing to receive it. Because it fully knows that flower can't resist that energetic pull, and in its own divine timing will orient towards the sun. Someone else's divine timing is not mine to know, but my energy is. So I'd love to think that you do them and you the service of the deepest level of confidence building work, which is to be boundaried with your energy, not washed and lost in another, and not washed and lost in yourself, but connected, and beaming a radiance that fully trusts the orientation and divine timing of the flower in front of them. And I think it probably speaks to my last point, which is understand your light and your energy. You are able to move an entire room, and certainly a person in front of you, by transmitting your state. So when you're able to connect to your own energy and glow, you are able to magnetically influence your partner, your children, a room full of people. The feminine can bless a space at 5% or 2000%, and that's magnetism, and you get to choose how you use that. So holding on to your own energetic container, knowing that your transmission of Shakti, of feminine energy, of life force that opens up that capacity for healing and abundance is your responsibility. And guess what? I'm pretty sure we're all fairly confident that we can do that for ourselves. At least most of the time, or some of the time even. As opposed to getting lost in, I don't have confidence to do what I really want to do because I'm so scared I won't know what to do when this person is in front of me. Or what happens if they're like this? As opposed to, I can leap because my only responsibility is my energy. I know that my energy is healing. I know that the space that opens up invites in and creates the healing and transformation, or the catalyst for whatever healing this person is here to transcend in this moment. So if you are an energetic practitioner, it is your energy that you need to understand more thoroughly than a series of lessons. So, hey. That is it. The last part that I have are words are seeds. What you plant grows. So you need to choose your words consciously and wisely, the ones that happen in here. So I would love for you to stop waiting and start trusting, because you've got you. Start listening to what you love and how you love it, because that's what you're here to do. Start loving all of the moments of challenge in your friendships and relationships and parenting, because they expand the capacity of your nervous system and therefore expands the amount of people you can help and be of service to, or just more confident with. And I would really love that if you are so empathic that you find yourself lost in other people's emotions or a room's vibe or yada yada too many times and to your own detriment, that you learn how to hold your energy better. And if you get so lost in the self-focus and self-minimizing game, that you learn how to hold your energy better. Because those two things will transform the confidence that you have and the space that you provide for people. I was about to say women again, but people. Aww, thanks, Mel. I think you're pretty magic too. You can't wait for that book. I get my feedback tomorrow from my second edit. Perhaps that's part of my wine. Aww. Thank you, Hayley. Oh, I'm so glad, Bron. Yes, please go back and listen. That'd be beautiful. I think there'd be amazing stuff there for you too. So if you are already an energetic practitioner, or you are ready to take your coaching or your work understanding or even self-healing, the last round of EMBARK, I had 2 women in there who didn't even know why they signed up. They were like, I don't know, my heart is calling. And they went through this 6 months and they went, oh my God, everything has changed. My life has changed. The way that I am with my children has changed. My relationship has changed. The way that, and the type of interactions I'm having with clients has changed. And I had social workers and midwives and all sorts of practitioners. If you're ready to understand depth and integrity and energetic healing, then EMBARK is the space for you. It's my heart and soul, really. That's what I love most in this world, is all of the unspoken things that we don't have the space to talk about. Like even like this, like just that practitioner space that when we're so doing our own thing on our own, we even miss. But even more than that, just the depth and the insight and the intuition and the knowledge and the universal laws and energetic movement and so many quantumly fantastical things that this, rational mind can't comprehend, isn't it? Because it's not, it's exceptional. So I would love for you to join me if you're really feeling heart's calling, or heart's knowing, perhaps. It's going to be pretty amazing. It's a whole 6 months. 6 months of practice, 6 months of mentorship with me. And it's just 2,222. 2222. Angel numbers. There's payment plans available if that works better for you. And if you're not sure, just drop me a message. I'm really, if the energy flow is good, I can work with just about anyone on just about anything. So don't be afraid to shoot me a message. Thanks for being on here tonight. This was cool. This was nice after our further lockdown notices. This was lovely. So I look forward to more EMBARK conversations when we're in Zoom and we actually get to hang out and chat more and actually do some energetic body work. So I really, really, really am going to make sure that that lands in your body and you understand it and you feel it. And I will show you how to do that and what that feels like. I love that. It's my most favorite thing in the whole world to do. I know, fucking lockdown. I know, mate. I'm laughing because if I wasn't laughing, I'd be crying, Melissa. So, thanks for being here. This was really cool. And I'll see you every Sunday night. We're doing EMBARK pre-trainings. So if this is your jam, come join. It's super fun. I'll see ya. See ya.